Hey everyone, it's your girl Jen T. I am in Studio B and I am doing historical movement this week. And I just wanted to talk about somebody who not too many people knew of his, how he looked like, but they knew of the characters he played. He was a person who did a lot of stunts. He was an actor, and he did a lot in his short amount of life that he had upon this earth. And I kind of want to go into this because this is actually one of the actors that my littlest did a report on, and I kind of wanted to bring it up to you guys and kind of give you some facts about him. These are just 5 little facts about this amazing individual, and hopefully you guys would want to learn more about him. And let's just get right on into who this person is. So these are top 5 amazing facts about Kevin Hall. So Kevin Hall, you might be wondering who is this person, or you might already know who he is by his body of work. Kevin Hall is famously known for playing the Predator in Predators 1 and 2, and also in Harry and the Hendersons. He played in the original film, and then I didn't know that there was a Harry and the Hendersons series, so I may have to look into that. But he was in, I think if I'm not mistaken, about 70 of the episodes. I might be mistaken, but I put the correction down here if I'm wrong, but I think it was about 70 or 72 episodes he was a part of, or for the good majority of them, before his passing. But yeah, so he was, quite a few amazing characters, and he was an amazing actor. And one of the big things, that kind of assisted him in his acting career was because he was actually very tall. He's a very tall individual. But not only that, from what everybody has said about him on set, he was very open and welcoming to work with. They said that he was a really nice guy.
Things for his body cast, for his head cast, to prepare for the process of creating the Predator. And here is this wonderfully soft-hearted, intelligent, poetic giant of a man.
Hi, Mom. What are you doing Mom here? Out there? Yeah, that's my mom. What are you doing? Mom? What are you doing here in the middle of Mexico? That's amazing.
I was looking at some of his interviews and things like that, and he seems like a pretty down-to-earth person. And I kind of want to, take a little bit of a deep dive into him. So we're gonna go into our first fact after my rumbling. Our first fact is Kevin was born on May 9th, 1955. He was born in Pittsburgh, PA, and his parents was Charles and Sylvia Hall. He went to school in Pittsburgh. He went to Penn Hills High School, where he played basketball. He was a basketball star. He was so good at basketball that he ended up getting, if I'm not mistaken, scholarships to go to, I think it was Washington University. Just gonna double check. Yep, Washington University, where he also played basketball, and he also majored in theater, which would obviously help him later on down the road. He graduated from Washington University, and then he actually moved for a brief period of time to Venezuela, where he played professional basketball. I was trying to find the name of the basketball team, but everywhere it does say that he played professional basketball in Venezuela. I just couldn't find the team. But he did play in the Venezuelan basketball team for a short period of time before moving to LA. So we're going to go into our third fact. He became an actor right around 1979, right around there. His first film that he was a part of, he was actually uncredited. I'm not sure what that actually means, but uncredited, but I'm assuming that, obviously he got paid for it. It was just in the credits, he wasn't mentioned, but he was in The Prophecy with Christopher, I think it was Christopher Lee was in The Prophecy. He played bad guy. It's actually a good movie, and I didn't realize that Kevin Hall was in that. I had to rewatch it and I was like, oh, there he is. He played the mutant bear, which is quite interesting that would be the character he played, but it made sense because of how tall the character was. But again, he was definitely a method actor. He played a lot of the monsters or a lot of those type of characters, and a lot of the stunts and things like that he did himself, which was amazing, especially when it comes down to like the Predator series and how much he put into those characters and brought them to life. He was definitely one of those people that it didn't matter how small the role was, he put in 110% into everything he did. We're gonna go into our fourth fact, which this was a fact that I added in there. Actually, before we get into our fourth fact, I'm gonna put up a list of all the acting things that he had done throughout his career. Like, again, he did Predator, he did The Prophecy, apparently he did an episode in ER, which now I gotta find, Night Court, he was in 227, which I did know that, but I didn't know something about that. That'll be a little bit later on in this episode. He also played in Predator 2, and again, like I said, he was also in the Harry and Henderson series, but he didn't complete the series because he had passed before the series was completed. But again, he did quite a few other roles, so I have the list up for you guys to take a look at. So now we're gonna go into our fourth fact. The character the Predator was actually not first for Kevin Hall. The person that they actually had in place for Predator originally was actually Jean-Claude Van Damme, which I could not see the Predator being played by him. I'm gonna be for real. That kind of was like, are you serious? But yeah, that was a role because they wanted the Predator to know a lot of martial arts and things like that, and Van Damme was one of those actors that people knew about, how to do martial arts and things like that, even though there was others. But what am I to say? But when they looked at the character, they actually wanted the character to be more creature-like, more crab-like. So they ended up casting somebody who was quite tall and who could be able to bring this monstrous character to life. And so comes in Kevin Hall. So honestly, I can't see nobody else playing the Predator. He was definitely a person where I was like very much so like, it was like I couldn't see anybody else playing him.
This one is not doing what normal Predators do, which is hunt and go by the rules. He's definitely breaking all the rules. So he's a wild boy.
But I do know later on, obviously, other people played the Predator in later installments because Kevin Hall was no longer with us. But at the same time, you kind of can see a difference in the Predator in the later series. I realized that because like the first two made sense, because even in the second Predator, he was the young Predator and he was also the older Predator, the one that comes out at the end. Spoilers if you haven't seen the Predator, but he played both, which made sense in my opinion. So that was something that was quite interesting. And he also played the pilot. He was the pilot in the scene, and I'm actually gonna swing it on up to that scene. I'll point him out. All right, so yeah, just a little bit of facts about him regarding that movie, one of his most famous acting roles. And then we're gonna go into our last fact. While working on 227, he actually met his wife, which oh my goodness, I'm gonna put her name down here. I keep messing up her name, and her name is very easy to say. As always, I'm very bad with names. But she played Rose in 227. They both got married. They had 2 kids. But their marriage obviously was short-lived due to Kevin becoming ill with AIDS. But he contracted the AIDS because he had a tainted blood transfusion. And due to the transfusion, he contracted AIDS, which would eventually be the reason why he passes away in April 1990, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just make sure I got the date right. Passed away, I think it was April 1991. So, you know, even though he passed on and his life was short-lived, he did have a it seemed like a very fulfilling life. He had a loving family, 2 kids. He had a body of work that, you know, stays with us. And he was it seemed like a very good guy, all in all. So, you know, those are the facts about Kevin Hall. Hopefully you get something out of it this week. You know, this is a person that I grew up on, believe it or not. Like, so a lot of the movies that he did, I watched. A couple of them I was kind of surprised that he did, so now I gotta go back and check them out. But to like know of the person behind the mask, and also this person brought a lot to those roles. Like, there was no small roles, you know, that, you know, he was willing to accomplish and bring these characters to life. So it was, you know, quite interesting to do this research and learn a little bit more about this caring and wonderful human being. So that's it for me. So hopefully you enjoyed the facts. And as always, stay tuned, stay alert. And remember, you guys are the movement. You guys take care. Have a good one. Bye.